Yeah, maybe somebody who can put out fires really fast would be helpful. Thank you, Frost. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to The Flash. We're now into episode 8, which is called The Fire. What is it? The Fire Next Door? The Fire Next Time. Sorry. I was close. All right. So the last episode of The Flash, we kind of had a bit of a bottled episode that focused on Barry and the new police chief, Kramer. And basically, there was a heist that almost happened at the police station, but thanks to the combined efforts of Barry and Kramer, they managed to thwart that. And of course, Barry then exposed his identity to Kramer, who had actually figured it out at that point. And they're now going to work together with him training Kramer to use her meta ability. We also had a little bit of a side story of Frost, which, like I said, wasn't really that pivotal to the episode, as well as seeing at the end of the episode that whatever's happening with the timeline that the kids thought they fixed is clearly still happening, and it looks like it's affecting Iris alone, or at least most directly. So I'm very excited to see whether or not we're going to keep following that path with Iris. I want to know what's going on. I need my girl to be okay. She went through it all last season with that whole Mirrorverse stuff. We do not need to go through anything like that again. So I'm ready to jump into this episode. But before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you really like what you see, I'd appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up button. It just helps me out a lot. It helps the algorithm to see my video, and that means a lot to me. And if you really, really like it here, you can hit that subscribe button so you can get notified when I do more reactions to this show. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Same goes for you. Please like and subscribe if that is in your heart to do. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into episode 8 right about now. Why? Acid? Oh, this person can go visible? Okay, we got a very, what's that character from Mortal Kombat? Like the chameleon that can spit acid.
Ooh,
What's down in the same room?
just a phone call away.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be focusing on that calendar. Hold on, I gotta go back and see.
The Vic's name is Stanley Mullen. He's the manager of this local watering hole.
Well, he's been toasty.
Whoever meta is, they produce fire that ignores the laws of physics.
Oh, man.
Was it fire or just heat?
Jocko Birch, I'll put out an APB. This way, ma'am.
Seems a bit too convenient.
How do you kill someone without burning half the place down?
Looks like we're not the only ones.
Maybe
who
it's
level
not
up
him.
this year.
But also, meta powers level up. At least they're supposed to. But that was heat. That was not fire. He was using straight up heat.
Protocol and made an appeal to the editor-in-chief, and I approved it. Is that a problem?
Yes. I mean, no. I just mean,
Which one is it?
Actually, you know what? Why don't you both interview Rosie?
you want Taylor?
Why do I have to work with the plebes? Why am I being punished?
And keep an open mind. I mean, you might be surprised at what the two of you can do together.
That one's kind of a sticky situation, but I mean, if the protocols are that you can go above someone's head, I mean, that's a good idea though, because sometimes you get people who are in a position of power that are actually abusing it, and that's one way to make sure they can't keep doing it, but we'll have to see.
You aren't with the bands, Jocko. You're arena security. Anyone can do that. Go for a walk.
Things are going great between the two of you. Maybe you shouldn't pretend like everything's fine if you've been in prison. Maybe you should start with, hey, let's talk. How are ya? What can I do? Yeah, something tells me Jocko's not your guy. Cool off, he said.
Please, I didn't do anything. Please, I can't lose my son, please.
That felt like it resonated.
I swear, please believe
I
me.
mean, does he look like the kind of guy who just would burn a guy up in cold blood in his bar and be crying like this in front of his son? From what we've seen in The Flash, I mean, your villains are pretty textbook.
Using my powers to read a client. It's an ethical line that I can't cross.
Yeah, of course.
Since when? You've been doing that? Okay. Not writing, suddenly rewriting history. No, Cecile's been doing that for a minute now. Don't stop now, sis. Like, let's keep going. You've been using your gut and your powers whenever it suited you. So don't start planning to do the protocol thing now, ma'am.
I haven't seen you since Iron Heights. At least not in person.
Well, you know, I try to stay away from ex-cons since I'm an ex-con. You know, it's kind of what they encourage you to do when you get out of prison.
You got out, walked into a legit career. Good for you.
Doesn't sound very sincere.
To get my GED in prison, and look where it got me.
This is just
Ma'am,
temporary.
it's a GED. I mean, I don't know what kind of promises people made you for having a high school diploma, but it's literally entry level from here. You need to go further. You can still get post-secondary. Come on, be an entrepreneur.
I'd like to try and help you.
How could you possibly help?
I have friends in high places.
I won't leave my son without a dad again, okay? You got that?
Maybe you shouldn't tell people that. He's really not a smart criminal. This is how you know he wasn't like someone who did this crime.
Jocko Birch just escaped custody on rental holding.
Was anybody hurt?
Thankfully, no. But so much for his I'm innocent sob story, huh?
I mean, that's not exactly... Okay.
You're gonna take it all back. Right now!
Please.
Interesting. Maybe he's got a split personality.
Why did Frost run when Chilblain framed her? Because unfortunately, sometimes people don't get a fair shot from the
Period. Period.
Yeah, I'll find out.
I'll come with you.
Yeah, maybe somebody who can put out fires really fast would be helpful. Thank you, Frost. Shee.
You know, your innocent man bear's not looking so innocent anymore.
But look at the fire. Does his fire do that? He uses flames. That person was burning from the inside. Okay.
That doesn't make him a killer.
Okay, look, we know that you're just trying to do the right thing here. We do, but...
I honestly don't like even listening to Cecile these days because she went off so crazily on Iris not that long ago. I need her to kind of stop with the whole know-it-all thing.
Chester, could you please at least take a look at this and see what you can find?
Why are you looking at Cecile? Are you working for Star Labs or are you working for Cecile?
It feels like he's changed.
Not to us. And honestly, it feels like you're asking us to believe in
I cannot
something
believe
impossible.
that of all people, Frost is opening her mouth right now. This is a conversation she should be like, y'all have this one because I know I can't talk being an ex-con who's murdered people in cold blood.
So with or without your help, I'm going to do everything within my power to clear his name.
Just like when Iris had to figure things out for herself. Y'all can sit there with your little negative camp.
Joe, the look in my dad's eyes that night, it was the same look in Birch's eyes when they arrested him.
He would know that look. Burnt into his psyche.
You think maybe I've had blinders up this whole time?
No, your
Maybe.
gut is good. Don't let anyone ever convince you your gut's wrong.
If your gut tells you.
King Joe.
But next time, please run any changes this big by me first. And another thing, I want you to talk to Taylor.
Yep. Also, just because someone seems shallow and surface doesn't necessarily mean that's what they are. You did a lot of prejudging there, Allegra. And I mean, the reality is that not everybody's going to resonate with your friend's story from prison. People are going to be relating to Taylor's story as well, as much as you may not like it. That's the whole point of being an actual news outlet.
But Birch's powers come from absorbing heat, not nuclear fusion. Meaning,
He's innocent.
Like he said.
I want my son!
Tuh!
Now!
Harold's like, I don't know him. He doesn't even go here. Oh my God, Dad, stop.
All I wanted when I got out of Iron Heights was a clean start. To
Well,
get my...
you're an ex-con.
You can't keep me from my family, Flash.
No one's taking
He
care
can't
of him.
actually. He can literally run your son to like the other end of the world and you would never find him.
Officer, get them to safety! Your heat abilities. They're connected to the earth beneath wherever you're standing.
Yeah, science is not my strong suit.
Right?
Yeah,
He's like, I can barely count. Can you simple this down?
Officer, get them back!
That's as far as you...
My son, he can't die because of me.
Okay, but then can he run further away?
When that happens, I need you to absorb the remaining heat.
I've never done anything like that before.
You're gonna have to try. Okay, that's pretty metal. Gonna admit, that's pretty metal.
Wait, so saving hundreds of lives,
Try thousands.
saving that many lives?
I mean, you kind of caused the problem in the first place, but you know, we'll let you have it.
You used your powers again
He
know.
did.
I know.
to save us.
Aw, hugs. Kids are so fickle. He was mad. Teens are just angsty. I get it. Now you all owe him an apology. Although, wait, does that mean that his residual anger is what killed that guy? Didn't it doesn't that mean he technically still killed those people? I'm confused.
I can't believe they're actually letting me have custody of my son.
That's a horrible place to be in your life where you actually have to be surprised that you can take care of your own child. Woo, thank you, Lord, for giving me the life I had. You did good, Flash. This guy only missed out on a couple weeks.
I got excited, and I guess I felt like Lydia's story was something our readers needed right now.
And that's how I felt about my story.
Mm-hmm. Your feelings are not better than hers.
Called in a favor with the boss. Guess you learned that in prison.
And then you took it there.
I'm gonna destroy you. Yeah?
Damn. Becky just Becky'd you. But you kind of deserve it because you were snaky and you clearly don't think you're actually wrong. Your apology is moot.
Most I just remember being loved. I still miss him every day.
And that.
And you will. Should you be drinking, Iris? Aren't you supposed to be trying to get pregnant? Hers better be non-alcoholic.
So if Birch didn't kill those two, then who did?
That's the question. So he didn't do it. I thought maybe he said his connection with the heat did something. I was wrong.
Could you program those variables into the satellites?
Sure. What am I looking for?
Someone
More
using
victims.
that? Oh, that's right. That is one way to catch a serial killer,
There's
unfortunately.
another serial killer out there. We need to find them.
Maybe it's your boyfriend, Frost. He likes cold things. I'm kidding. It's Fusion. A little bit different. Okay, guys. Well, that was episode 8 of The Flash, which was called Fire Next Time. And yeah, we had a fire matter that we've seen before. I do remember his face, but I honestly don't remember what the episode was about. But this one was a little bit more about Barry kind of feeling some type of way about remembering his father. We discovered that his dad's birthday was today or February 1st in the showtime. And he was feeling some type of way about it. He seemed like he was a little bit more down and emo than normal. And I can't even remember just because the seasons have been so jumbled lately. I think this might be the first birthday that Barry's celebrating since Henry's death. So that would be obviously something that would hit him a little bit harder. I mean, even though his dad and him were not exactly together for most of his childhood, he still got to go see him in prison for things like this. So it would really hit Barry differently to have him gone and have that reminder of his dad. And I think all of that in light of like everything that's happened with the Armageddon thing and with him seeing his kids from the future and things like that. Like I think there's a lot going on where family's concerned, where Barry's concerned too. So I can see why maybe he's a little bit more emo about it. But what I personally noticed is it seems like him and Iris were a little bit distant in this. I mean, they were only on screen for like a few minutes, but even so, he kind of felt like they were a bit disconnected. It's like Iris even forgot that this would be a thing for Barry. And again, she noticed almost immediately that Barry was not okay. But I don't know. Like I said, little things like this are weird to me because like we know that West Allen are totally in sync, like they are each other's person. So it just seems really weird that she wouldn't have already kind of picked up before that moment that Barry was kind of out of it. But again, there's a lot of things going on right now. Like this whole timeline mumbo jumbo is still happening. So it's possible that maybe this is something to do with that maybe, Iris being the only one affected by this timeline thing might be affecting maybe things that are happening with Barry in a way that she doesn't realize yet. But again, we didn't talk about it at all this episode. They didn't even touch on it. So maybe I'm, just grasping at straws where that's concerned. But Barry's whole situation of feeling this way about his dad kind of precipitated into this case this week with his father and son and this man who sadly had all the evidence stacked against him, much like Barry's father did. And the fact that he was innocent despite that. And like Barry said, he dedicated his life to becoming a CSI just so he could make sure that something like what happened to his father would not happen to somebody else. And this whole case kind of triggered all of that all over again. But this time he has much more resources than he did when he was, just a normal human CSI. He's now the Flash. He now has Team Flash. he has a lot of things, available at his disposal to make sure that he was able to help this person be exonerated and eventually be able to get back with his son. And I mean, their story was kind of like, it was so surface. I know they didn't have a lot of time to get into it, but I'm glad for him that at least he gets to be with his son, especially if his son's got an absentee mother as well. I mean, the man's not the brightest, bulb in the chandelier, but it looks like he's got mad love for his kids. So that will probably work out really well for them. And that's something obviously Barry resonated with. But I'd say the only things for me in this episode that kind of made me a little bit irky was like the whole thing with Cecile suddenly having like, first of all, being so mad sure that this guy has got to be guilty without even trying to examine the evidence more. I mean, just a couple seasons ago, she was talking about that. I mean, it was because of her meta abilities, but still, she was like, no, we got to keep trying. You can't just judge everyone, even if the evidence is pushing there. But now suddenly she's on the other side and it's illogical. 2, now she doesn't use her abilities on potential clients. Like, what? Cecile's been using her abilities to do these judgments forever. Like, maybe not for someone she's directly representative. In fairness, I don't know if it's always been like just suspects that are in custody, but still, my point is Cecile uses her powers all the time for her personal gain. So for her to suddenly be throwing ethics around it, was like, okay, that just feels weird. And like I said, I don't know, like the writing for Cecile over the last like year has been a bit weird to me. Like Cecile's usually a very smart and empathetic, sweet person. And I feel like the writers are trying to give her like more punch or something. And it just comes across as her being a bit condescending and a little bit like witchy. And I don't personally like it. It doesn't seem like in character for Cecile. So anyway, that kind of irked me because like I said, it feels out of character for her. But I'm glad that Barry kind of just like, you know what, y'all do what you want. I'm going to do what I need to do because my gut's telling me that this is what I should be doing. And that's why I love the little talk he had with Joe, and Joe reinforcing that Barry's gut is a really good barometer for people. And that if he feels like this is the way to go, that he should follow that, because he clearly wasn't going to be okay until he did. So anyway, that was pretty much the thing that kind of irked me about that. I felt like it was like a weird kind of rewrite of history. And like I said, I wasn't very much a fan of the fact that West Allen felt a little out of sync, but I'm sure we're going to see more of why that is as the series goes on. But overall, it was an okay episode. I feel like it was a bit fillery, to be honest. Like, I don't know what point it was meant to make. I mean, obviously, whoever this meta is that's using cold fusion is a big deal. They need to figure out who that is. I'm assuming that's going to tie into something larger, or potentially it's tied to this whole thing that the twins, or I keep calling them twins, that the West Allen kids set off. But other than that, like, I feel like we didn't really do anything to kind of further a plot, which I'm still not even sure what the big plot is for the latter half of this season yet. So I'm hoping that this is kind of a catalyst into telling us what our arc is going to be. At least that's the way it's always been in The Flash, is that they've always kind of had a big seasonal arc or a big plot point they wanted to get to, but I'm still not sure what that is yet. So we'll have to keep watching to find out, and we'll see. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode along with me. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next video.